Everyone knows in order for a business to operate effectively, it must have an audience. But not just any audience, no. It has to have the ones who see you over everyone else. The first studio or dev that comes to mind over anyone else, and the ones that don't care how much you charge. There's just one problem. You don't have that. In fact, you have the opposite. Not a soul in sight, no community, no prospects, not even a single tumbleweed. And just 10 miles down the road is your rival, Dinklebird. You know, that guy who decided to choose the opposite Pokemon type and is always one step ahead of you? They have an audience, dedicated fans who play their games, attend their events, and retweet everything they put out. The saddest thing about it all is you both have similar projects, and you have the better product. How does that make you feel? Concerned? Livid maybe? Rightfully so. You've worked hard on your projects, only to reap the bare minimum of achievement. And the reason for that is you failed to catch their attention. But that's okay, I'm here to help. I am AIG, and in today's video, I will discuss how you can find the audience you are looking for, as well as pique their interest so they take a look into your story and projects. Without further ado, let's begin. So you have your studio, you have a game idea, but no one is aware of your existence, and you have no idea on where to look. First things first, ask yourself, what kind of person would I like to attract? For this step, we can take into consideration 3 categories: demographics, psychographics, and mindset. Demographics being the data related to a population and the particular groups within it. Examples may consist of where they live, ages, marital status, occupation, annual income, etc., etc. Next, we have psychographics, the study and clarification of people according to their attitudes, aspirations, and other psychological criteria. You can probably already tell why this is important. What are their hobbies, their favorite brands? What platforms do they use? Who do they look up to? And lastly, we have mindset. Pretty self-explanatory. What's their attitude like on a day-to-day basis? What separates them from everyone else? And how do they feel about themselves? This process can take a good amount of time depending on how thorough you'd like your research to be. It can take weeks, possibly months, but in the long run, it's worth it, especially when a majority of devs and studios neglect this process. Once you are clear on who you are trying to attract, finding their whereabouts becomes a lot easier. All that's left is to analyze where they are in their life and how you can smoothly integrate yourself to positively impact the journey that lies ahead. I don't mean you have to completely 180 their philosophical perspectives, but what I'm getting at is the intended purpose for creating your game or studio should fulfill its meaning to the player. It can be as simple as providing an outlet for short-term fun with friends, or maybe you'd like to raise an important question about society. Here's a diagram for the visual learners out there. So, this is the player you'd like to reach, and this is the path they are on. As you can tell, it's a bit blurry because no one can see into the future. Now, where do you fit in? The best place you can be is determined by your own research, but just to provide an example, let's say your mission is to uplift the player from a depressive state. In that case, we can put you here, between depression and normality. Almost like you are the bridge and the player walks along to reach the better state of mind. Now that that is all out of the way, let's take a look at 2 examples. For the 2 examples, let's do a developer and publisher. And just a heads up, this information is from my perspective on the businesses, so apologies if I don't represent them in the way that they are meant to be portrayed. Starting off, we have Ice Pick Lodge. A Russian indie game studio established in Moscow of 2002. As said by the team themselves, we are fascinated by games that not only entertain, but also provide food for thought and encourage the player to change for the better. That is why our favorite genre is survival, and our method of choice is a challenge. We do not like preaching, we'd rather ask questions than give answers. To us, a game is a dialogue between its developers and the players, and a player is a co-author. From just a few lines alone, the studio has established the genre of games it would like to create, the intended audience, and the outward portrayal of the studio to the world. Ice Pick Lodge makes it clear that the challenges they face don't stray from their vision. And just as they see their games as experiments, the result collected from you all, as players, is manifested into a new enjoyable experiment for us to take part in. That new experiment being Know by Heart, just released this month on February 10th. So we've wrapped things up with Ice Pick Lodge. Now let's take a dive into the publisher, Raw Fury. Raw Fury is a European unpublisher based in Sweden, Stockholm, making its debut on April of 2015. Their mission? Help developers make magic. They aren't concerned with genre or mechanics, but more so focused on experiences and emotions. From all their previous knowledge of running small and large development studios, producing, promoting, designing, distributing, delivering, and writing about games, it is now time to give back by helping the next generation of developer magicians. Just to hold themselves accountable, they've created the tenets of Fury, which sort of behaves like a company guideline for core values of the business. Number 1 being treat people like people, number 2 for happiness over profit, and lastly number 3, games are art. You can also find a section of their site dedicated to developer resources and how to pitch to Raw Fury themselves, and also a support section where you can submit a form for getting assistance with your game issues, reporting bugs, and submitting feedback. So, who is Raw Fury after? The developers who put people first. The ones that believe games carry the same burdens books, movies, music, and whatever art forms are out there. The devs that believe money is a byproduct of happiness for the craft. All things that transcend the shallowness of mundane media. Is that something that you can get behind? The two studios absolutely nail their messaging, which is crucial in attracting an audience. A thing that, if neglected, will make it impossible to attract the audience you'd like. Something I discuss in this video here. Make sure to watch that if you'd like to have the same resolve as Raw Fury and Ice Pick Lodge. All that being said, thanks for watching. I am AIG, and I will see you in the next video.
Oh, I got music, friend. Now it's time to bring it around.